Now, some of you might say, and I've heard this, some people commented, said about this Finn McKenty guy, that it's not worth the time. Don't shine light on him. Don't give him light, because he's a, I think people are thinking he's a troll. And having watched this video that I'm about to play several times already, kind of and digging into this guy, I see that. That's what it seems to be. This guy is a disingenuous troll whose platform was, I guess, he gained his platform through having contrarian takes for the sake of being contrarian. Some people like this guy. They think he's very informative. I don't know about that. Based on his lack of research, lack of homework, lack of care for Japanese metal before doing his video, I don't know. If that's how he does his other videos, then how am I supposed to take him other than just a troll? And I mean, from what I understand, this guy, this Finn McKenty guy, I think he thinks pop punk is like the best music. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, but it seems to be the case. That's just sad. I know he doesn't like progressive metal. He doesn't like progressive rock. It's too complicated. Doesn't have any hooks, catchy hooks. Dream Theater has a lot of hooks. So I don't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have the time for it, I guess. He doesn't have the time to sit down and listen to some good music. Now, when I say good, I'll say this. That's subjective. Good is subjective. What's good for me may not be good for you. And I'm good with that. There's a lot of bands I react to that people do not like, and that's fine. I'm a big fan of Maximum the Hormone. I think they're great. Not everybody likes them. I also like Baby Metal, Bandmade, Love Bites. And you know what? Some people, they watch the reaction videos because of Love Bites, but maybe not Bandmade. Maybe not Baby Metal. Okay? I'm good with us like having those different views, different opinions on that. I'm good with that. What I am not good with is someone outright taking a dump on the fans and trying to smear them as either racist or perverts. That's what this guy did. I mean, that's essentially his argument against Japanese metal. It goes like this, man. We're going to play it. We're going to react to it. But his argument essentially boils down to people like Japanese bands, metal bands, because they're Japanese. Because they're weird. Not because they're any good. And that's problematic. He says it's problematic because it's exotifying Japanese people. Fetishizing them. We could let's stop. Go back a little bit. Let's explore that. Problematic because it's exotifying Japanese people. So if you like Duran Gray, if you like the band Duran Gray, if you like them, you know what you're doing? You're fetishizing the band. I think I've seen the band members a couple times. I don't really know what they look like. It's not even a factor. The first time I listened to Baby Metal was I listened to it in my car. I had no idea what the band looked like or what the group looked like. I heard it in my car. I figured they sounded young, so wasn't really doing that. Okay, it wasn't. I was like, holy hell, this is crazy. You take the J-pop voice and sound and you combine it with freaking metal. This is great. I love this. And I loved it because it was different. Yes, it was weird. It was a sound I'd never heard before. A sound that no one else has. Well, pump the brakes on that because there are other groups in Japan that have that sound. Hanabi? Passcode? Oh, Poppy in the West. Yes, Poppy did a metal thing, trying to be like baby metal. You know what? I actually kind of liked that. I kind of liked it. It was catchy too. I liked it too. Okay. How's it going, Reboot Bob? Yeah, you're a fetishizer. I am one of those who skips the band-maid section reactions. Not my cup of tea. And see, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You know what? I got into band-maid just because they wear the maid outfits. No, not even. Like what? What? You know, we can get into that too. A band like Band-Maid, I mean, it's kind of like part of the package, right? Like they're wearing the maid outfits because it's like a maid cafe thing. It's kind of like rolling with that, having the kawaii, cute look, but having the hard rock sound. You know, if you're a fan of Band-Maid and you like the music and you just so happen to find the girls attractive, that's not a bad thing. That's intended. That's the package. That's the product. You're liking it. You're enjoying it as intended. What the hell, dude? What the hell? Anyway, we're gonna get into this, man. We're gonna get into this. This is gonna be good. I might get fired up. I shouldn't. This guy's just a troll. But this guy is such a disingenuous asshole. Okay? He really is. He really is. He's going to project and be like, oh, if you like Japanese bands, you're fetishizing and you are exotifying them. Well, before that, saying that he has a Vietnamese wife, so it's okay for him to say that. So you're telling me the guy who literally had yellow fever is saying that we all have yellow fever? That's his words. That's what he used. If we like Japanese metal. What the fuck, dude? Projecting much? Projecting much? God damn it. Haven't even started this shit. All right. All right, let's roll the tape. Let's play. Oh, you know what's even cute about this? There's an ad in this video for Adam and Eve for like dildos and shit. Oh, let's play it.
This and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, let's talk about Japanese metal.
Let's talk about Japanese metal. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I need to relight this cigar. This cigar is on stand lit. I need to just chill, relax, take some puffs in the cigar. Let's talk about Japanese metal.
Let's do that. It's going to be an unpopular one, but let's talk about Japanese metal because this is a topic that a lot of people ask me about.
He already knows.
Bring it up all the time. Hey, what do you think about Japanese metal? And I always avoid answering the question because, you know, the fans of Japanese metal tend to be very, very, very passionate, let's just say. And they really want me to like Japanese.
Dude, you pissed them off on purpose. This is not the first time. Baby metal? Like, didn't you do like 2 videos on baby metal? Like I said, this guy is full of shit. He's not honest. You can't take him at his word. Man, I swear to God, dude. Because the stuff he pulls out of his ass, you know he does it on purpose. Like, I know, Rebo Bob, I know you don't like Band-Maid. But he... Sorry, there was a weird sound around me. Oh, I think the back door's creaking open. Is someone trying to get through? Well, hopefully I don't get shot here tonight. Hopefully it's not Finn sending a Bitcoin assassin to assassinate me here. Shit. Oh my God. You'll see. You see what I'm talking about. He'll, like, what I'm saying, the reason why I say he's disingenuous, you can't trust him, or I don't trust anything he has to say, is because he literally did no research in doing this. He pulls up bands, he knows nothing about them, hasn't really listened to anything of them, didn't do any research. He'd be like, oh, this just sounds like some Western band, when the Japanese band technically came first, and I'd be, okay, anyway, we'll get into it.
Metal, but to be honest, my feelings about Japanese metal are basically summarized by this meme. It's not so much how I feel about it, but it's what I think captures the reality of Japanese metal.
Oh, so it's not his feeling about it, it's a fact. Okay, that's another thing about this guy. He comes off as a pompous, arrogant, smug asshole. Like his opinion is the opinion. It is a fact. It is objectifiable fact. Okay, you could. I mean, that's how it comes across. It's in this tone. It's in his body language there. And if you watch his other videos, you see it.
Meaning that I think the appeal of Japanese metal is mostly in the Japanese part. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But first, I'd like to thank...
Not even true. The appeal of Japanese metal is that you don't hear that particular sound from anywhere else. Or maybe that band does play a sound you like, but they go harder. I mean, he's going to bring up Maximum the Hormone. Maximum the Hormone, I even said, they sound like they were influenced by like new metal bands from the West, from the US, System of a Down. But they go harder than System of a Down. They go harder than that. And they do things differently. There's so many blends of genres in Maximum the Hormone. But, and then there's all sorts of progressive metal bands that I learned about by doing a reaction channel. Like Dream Theater? You think Dream Theater's progressive? Dude, like Dream Theater can't hold a candle to like half of the Gaunerous? You cannot. There is not a Western counterpart to Gaunerous. There just isn't. Dream Theater's like child's play compared to that. Okay, so like he could be like, oh, it's derivative or it sounds the same. No. They'll be influenced by other music, as all genres of various bands are, right? Like what band isn't influenced by another band? And they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna take that idea. You know what? I'm gonna crank it up to 11. You think that's hard? I'm gonna go harder. You think that's fast? I'm gonna go faster. Okay? You got that shredding? Oh, we're gonna shred. Jesus. Anyway, this is the part where he has the Adam and Eve commercial. We're gonna skip that. It's just cute that
Thank
he has
Adam and Eve
dildos.
Cool to Adam script out. Please note,
in my opinion.
Okay, we're gonna get into it. Oh, Rebo Bob, he cannot name one band that sound close to sounding like Hannibal. You're right. He couldn't. But what he would say is something that sounds a little racist here. Let me play before I get into that. Let me actually let him talk.
Most Japanese music in general is not great. I think it essentially falls into one or two categories. I'm going to give someone on Twitter credit for this because they broke it down really well. Number one is stuff that is executed very well, very competent, but not necessarily special or interesting in any way other than being Japanese. Number two is shit that's just super off the wall, crazy.
He's going to bring up an example of something that you really can't hear anywhere else. Watch.
Zany XD kind of stuff, which
by the way, that's a visual K, which he could flat out dismisses completely as utter trash. This guy does. Full sweep dismisses a whole freaking genre that is cruel, that is Japanese specific, that you could only find in Japan. And in this video, he also says, oh, I'm aware of Japanese culture. I know what I'm talking about. Some of this music isn't even about Japanese culture, has nothing to do with it, or whatever. He'll get to it. But then he flat out dismisses a subgenre of metal that only exists in Japan. So freaking narrow-minded, dude. Like, he did no fucking research. Flat out fucking lazy. It'd be like if I started a video about how, like, the truth about boy bands. And I wanted to tell you about all the boy bands and the truth of it. I wouldn't know anything about that shit. I wouldn't know where to begin. I'd just play some things, react, and make some stupid takes. Doing what this guy did. I really want to go out of my way and do that. Anyway.
And it's not really inherently great music. It's only appealing to people because they find the idea of Japanese people being crazy to be super interesting.
See, he brings it to like about, oh, it has to be the Japanese. Why is it the Japanese? And he brings it to a sexual thing. Watch.
There's this fascination with Japanese things that I find to be a little bit weird. And what I mean by that is that...
How is that possible? How do you find it weird? Like, I'm a product of the 90s. Japan has offered many great, cool things. I have a fond outlook on Japan based on the nice, wonderful things I've enjoyed from Japan. Now, is that a correct view about Japanese culture? Probably not. But I have fond feelings, fond thoughts, positive thoughts about Japan and things from them. It's interesting to me. And the more I look about it, the more I read about it, the more I watch about it, the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. First off, starters, Japan has a beer vending machine? Oh, goddamn. We need that in the fucking States. Okay? You know, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's things to be fucking excited about. There's things they're uniquely Japanese that are to be excited about. Anyway.
I feel like among...
It doesn't even have to be about the women. I could say that. You know what? I would be putting myself in a trap here because it could be like, oh, the only reason people like Japanese bands because they find these women attractive. It's about the female ones. But that's coming from the same guy who he's married, supposedly, to a Vietnamese woman. And he wants to make that like a problematic thing. I like being attractive to like someone who's Japanese. That's a problem? How's that a problem? That sounds bigoted as fuck. Well, we'll get into that.
The people who are super into this stuff, it's almost like they worship the band just because they're from Japan, right? Like, would they feel this strongly about the exact same artist if that artist was from, say, Austria or Cleveland?
Probably. Maybe. We don't know. But you could look at counterparts. You know what? The same people who like Maxim the Hormone, they probably do like System of a Down. They probably liked Korn. If they didn't like Korn or System of a Down, they probably are not going to like Maxim the Hormone. Okay? That's just true right there. Okay? Like, if you don't like that particular style of music, if you find a particular style of music off-putting and there's a Japanese band that plays that style, you're not going to like that. There's no reason you would like that. Like, if you don't like screamo, if you don't like it when the ladies or the guys just scream and screech all the time and growl, you're not going to like it when a band in Japan does that shit. So it's not the Japanese factor. It's that they like the music. That's what it is. And this guy has a bug up his ass about, like, why do they have to differentiate it? Why does it have to be Japanese metal? Why can't it just be metal? Because Western metal dominates the fucking scene, and they have to differentiate themselves. You Google metal, you look at metal, you will not find a Japanese metal band. And it's not because they're not good. It's because they don't get through. I mean, as far as culture goes, I mean, I don't want to be mean here. I don't know if this sounds mean, but I'll put it this way. If our society right now, our world right now was a game of Civilization 6, the West won the culture war, especially as far as music goes, in that the influence goes like, oh, you got European bands, Western bands, U.S. bands influencing the East. Okay. God damn it. God damn it. Anyway. But I'm actually on that note, I'm kind of curious if that Visual Kai, I'm kind of curious if that has influenced American bands. I wouldn't really know because American metal is pretty much, what is it? Obsolete, dead. American metal is what? Slipknot. They've been around from the fucking 90s, dude. How long has Slipknot been around? Like 2000s? It's like, they're an old band now too. Well, what's a new American metal band? I don't know who they are. Why? They don't get any time. They're not promoted. I don't know. Anyway. I'll get into it. Visual Kai is just a natural succession of 80s hair metal, my honest opinion. That's what some people say, but I think it goes beyond that. It's like, I could see the hair metal influence, but it goes like the things you see in Visual K is like insane. Like they go full on into the characters. Like they look like fantasy figures or whatever. And that, I mean, that's fine. That's what they're going for. Of course, then there's like the goth visual Kai, where it's like horror elements. It's like they look sinister. Bronx, will you review my beats one day, Papa Deadman? Sure, yeah, I'd be willing to do that. Hey, Bronx, what are you posting there? Oh, is that a picture of a chick? Is that a titty? Is that what I think it is? Bronx, you can't be doing that. Bronx, you can't be doing that. Okay, I'm sure Twitter does not allow that. I don't know what that is. Oh, sorry. That is a Shrek. Behave, Bronx Beats. Behave. Twisted Sister's like a step-grandfather visual guy. D. Snyder. Yes. You're right about that. So, yes, Americans would like visual Kai for a bit. But then it just wouldn't be a thing. Like Pantera was doing hair metal for a little while, but they lost that. Metallica came in. Metallica, the thrash metal scene rose and be like, you don't have to wear all that ridiculous stuff. You could just play. You could just wear jeans and a t-shirt. You could wear denim and just play. Fucking play. Have long hair. Just play. All right. Let me play the rest of this. We're only 3 minutes in. Okay.
I don't think they would. I think that the root of this is that they think that there is something special and interesting specifically about Japanese things. And not only do I disagree with that, I think it's a little bit, I'll use the woke word, problematic. And I believe
this is going to be cute. I'm going to let him explain this, and I'm going to tell you what the hell's wrong with it.
that it's problematic because to me this is an example of exotifying someone, and people are gonna call me woke, they're gonna call me an SJW, they're gonna call me whatever the fuck they're gonna call me, but this is how I feel. Exotifying is seeing someone as a
I'm gonna call you like a big brained individual, but you're trying it doesn't even suit you, like you're reading this, okay, like I don't even think you are aware of this term until you did this video. You're like looking for a problem, okay?
exotic or unusual, and with that, romanticizing different stereotypes that are connected with who you think the person is. The term describes a process in which you attribute a set of stereotypes to a person based on their appearance and how they fall outside of the norm. Now ask yourself this.
That's not even what's happening when people are fans of Japanese metal. They're a fan of the music. They're a fan of the music. That's what it is. Like, you don't just listen to a band. You don't just listen to a band or an artist because they're from a particular place. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You have to like the music too. It doesn't make any freaking sense at all.
This question, does that...
And let me tell you something. This whole exotification, and later on he's going to say fetishizing, they're just buzzwords. They're buzzwords used by big brain individuals to sound smart. When really, they just come across as a fucking bigot themselves. A narrow-minded bigot that cannot stand it when someone likes something that is foreign to them or different to them. Like, when he's going to get into this, it's going to be like, dude, what's your problem with people liking something you don't like? What is your problem with someone liking something from a different country? You seem to have a problem with it, and that you're trying to say that it's racist to like it. That's what you're fucking saying here. You're throwing out this buzzword, being like, it's problematic. It's problematic to even like Japanese metal. What's going on here? It's like, fuck you, asshole. You know what's problematic? To pretend like the best is from America and that's it. And like everything else is derivative. And like, I guess what, Japanese people can't come up with good music? Is that what you're fucking saying? That's what you're fucking saying. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Jesus, I'm getting heated here. I mean, it sounds like what Finn is about to get into here is a low-key way of saying that fans of J-Metal are only fans because they're racist through exotifying, which is a weird thing. Imagine calling someone that enjoys another's culture elements of that culture, whether it's pop culture, clothing, or even appearance, as a racist. Imagine seeing this, be like, hey, you racist, stop enjoying that Japanese music. It's derivative and incompetent. Listen to some American bands instead. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, you're just listening to that Japanese music because you just want to, hey, no, Bronx, you can't do that. I'm going to have to sweep that, Bronx. Dude, I'm going to have to time you out, bro. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. There you go. Okay. Stop. Behave. We're on Twitch, man. This isn't YouTube. Oh, God. Come on, Bronx. Have you been drinking? What's going on, bro? What's going on? You know, I just want people to get along, okay? But, you know, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. I'll let the video play some more, and we'll get more into this. Anyway.
That describe the relationship that people have with Japanese metal? I think it does. And the reason why is that being Japanese does not mean you were different in any way. Like,
it does mean you're different in some way, in that you're from Japan, and that it's music from Japan. That's a huge fucking big difference. I don't know. It's kind of like you can listen to death metal, or you could listen to Swedish death metal. I mean, there's a difference there too, right? This I don't. Okay.
Is there something about being from Japan that changes the sound of the music that you would make? I don't think there is, especially.
Hey, Bronx, behave. Repo does have permission to sweep you up. You want to use that term? Behave, bro.
Because, as I've said, a lot of the Japanese music, I think, is actually pretty derivative. And I'm going to talk about some specific examples.
That's cute coming from a guy who apparently is a big fan of, like, pop punk stuff, which is like, okay. And derivative, the music in the U.S., where did that? Rock was influenced by blues, okay. Derivative. Isn't music itself in a way derivative? Like, you hear something, be like, oh, I like that. I want to try to emulate that sound. I want to try to copy that sound but make it better. That's what bands have been doing for the longest time. Hell, let's go back in the past, back with, like, classic composers, like Beethoven shit. What were they doing? They were influenced by each other. It would, you know, take influence and emulate. Make things their own. Shit. Oh, that's interesting, too. One thing we'll do is I do want to talk about Love Bites. Love Bites is dude, power metal, progressive metal. Don't be surprised if a lot of that's influenced by classical music. Shit. Love Bites, was it Dystopia Symphony, influenced by Beethoven's Pathetic. It actually is pretty much pathetic, but like put into a power metal song. Anyway, I'll play this.
But before I do that, let me just give you my credentials for anyone that says I don't understand it, or I don't like Asian people, or whatever dumb shit that some of these people are going to say. They're going to jump to these ad hominem attacks. I've been to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched anime since
I've been to Japan, bro. I know what I'm talking about.
Like 1989.
I watched anime before. Okay. How about
back when you had to buy like fan subbed VHSs? Okay. I used to be able to like read katakana and hiragana. I can't anymore.
Read that, but
I just learned it so that I could play video games. So I understand like Japanese pop culture. I used to work with a bunch of Japanese people. Like, I'm not ignorant to Japanese things. I'm obviously not like hostile to.
He's like that white guy. I mean, he's white. He's like, I have a lot of black friends, guys, and you know, I hang out with black friends. I know what I'm talking about. But, like, music from black people is just horrible. Like, I don't even know why you would listen to it. It's just derivative. Don't clip that out. That's what it sounds like he's saying. Okay? He's saying music from Japan is derivative and crap. Why are you listening to it? Okay? He's kind of sounding like, you know, let me be careful with this one. I want you to really follow my logic here. Well, I'm gonna let him talk some more. It's gonna come up again. It will come up.
Asian things. I mean, my wife is Vietnamese, which obviously is a different thing than Japanese. But my point is, for anybody who's not familiar with me, who thinks that I don't understand Asian stuff or I don't like Asian things or whatever, obviously not true. Could not be further from the truth. Hey, my credentials that I watch anime. Well, I don't watch anime anymore, but I did. So my credentials, my weeb credentials, are that I bought Bubblegum Crisis fan subs on VHS in fucking 1990. So if you're going to tell me I don't understand Japanese pop culture, which is different from Japanese culture, anime and video games and baby metal are not Japanese culture.
Well, actually, I'll pause you right there. They're kind of part of Japanese culture, though, right? You could say that. You could definitely say that they are part of their culture. You can't just be like, oh, they're not part of their culture. Like in those works, various anime works, like even like the crazy robot stuff, you'll see elements of Japanese culture in it. And I've seen many videos of like tours through Japan or whatever. I see how much fucking anime is everywhere. Okay? It's like bombardment everywhere because they produce it. It's anime factory over there. So what do you say is not part of their culture? Okay? Like, is it 100%? Is it the only thing? No, it's not the only thing. But definitely baby metal. Baby metal has elements of like Japanese folklore. They pay attention. But shit, man. There's the design top on down from the fox god, from the kintsu, all that stuff. It's Japan. It's Japanese. The Kami band. The Kami band is named at. It's a Japanese reference. What do you mean that it's not part of their culture? This guy doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. It'd be like me saying, oh, dude, you know what? Hip-hop and rap, man, that's nothing about black culture. You know, that's nothing. Dude, that's nothing about it. Especially baby metal, half of it is fucking J-pop. J-pop is essentially Japan. I mean, you can't get around that. What is this guy? I don't understand why anybody would listen to this guy and think he's like being honest and genuine and actually knows what the fuck he's talking about.
That is like a very specific, thin slice of Japanese culture that even Japanese people think, for the most part, is kind of nerdy. Like, normal Japanese people don't listen to baby metal. Like, if you listen to that shit...
Pause right there. Normal Japanese people don't listen to baby metal. Baby metal topped, like, charted number 2, number 3. I think the second album charted number 2. I think the second album and the third, they charted high. They charted high. It was the top 3 albums. Okay? What do you mean normal people don't listen to it? Talk about.
Shit in Japan, you're a fucking nerd too. Let me give some...
Oh, fucking nerd. Okay, so shit on nerds too. All right.
Specific examples.
Aren't you a nerd? Why aren't you listening to it? Mr. Anime Guy? Mr. I'd get anime on VHS tapes? Pfft, okay.
Here. So... when it comes to stuff that is like kind of competent but uninspired, I think there's a lot of that. That is what I would say is the majority of Japanese music.
He's going to right now show you something to be like, oh, this guy's a really great guitarist, but fuck him. He's from Japan. It sounds like shit. I don't like this genre. Therefore, it's shit. That's what he's going to say. Watch.
For example, Miyavi.
Miyavi is like one of the greatest guitars from Japan. And he's going to be like, oh, great guitarist, but I don't like this. This music sounds like crap to me, so therefore, it's objectively bad.
Great guitarist. Exactly. You're telling me if I move to Japan, people won't talk to me about baby metal and my favorite animes?
Maybe they would. They'd probably ask you about anime. Maybe. Depends. I mean, now, forthright. You have to bring up in the conversation. I've seen many interviews where like that's a thing that comes up.
Yeah, American weebs think that Japan is just 1980s businessmen and Harajuku girls. Exactly. Like, this is terrible.
I'm actually kind of like it. I kind of like that beat and the guitar.
This guy's a fantastic guitarist. But this sucks. This is terrible music.
You know what? I kind of like it. It's not 100% my cup of tea. But you know what? I wouldn't shit on you if you liked it. If you're a fan of this, I wouldn't shit on you for liking it. And I definitely wouldn't say that you're a sexist, or sorry, a racist for liking it. It does imply the sexist thing too, in a way. It's kind of weird. That whole, that buzzword, that exotification and fetishizing. You know, if it sounds like it's made up as it comes out of your mouth, it's like, that just sounds like a loaded bullshit word right there. Okay. All right.
He's a very good musician, but if this guy was American, would anybody listen to this? Would the same people listen to this? They wouldn't. If this guy was from Cleveland, would the same people care about him?
If the guy was from Cleveland, yeah, actually, if they like that kind of style of music, that'd be great. I don't know anything that sounds like that coming from the States. You name me a musician, an artist from the U.S. that sounds like that. Now, it does kind of like sound like something that Kanye West would sample in one of his new albums. So there is that. Okay. It sounds like something that could be sampled and put on like a hip-hop track or, you know, a rap or something. I mean, it already kind of has a rap to it already. Look at that. All right, anyway.
I don't think they would. And if they would, great. But I think, again...
They would.
The appeal is that he is Japanese, right?
Is that why the guy has over close to 500,000 followers on YouTube? Is because he's subscribers? Is because he's Japanese? Dude, like, if you have a fetish for Japanese men, you could just go fire up Pornhub and look up Japanese porn. You don't have, like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, we're talking about music. Like, are you saying people are gonna sit through music they don't like, that they hate, just because they find the artist attractive? What's broken in your brain? What's broken in your fucking brain? I mean, what they'll probably do is maybe tolerate a couple songs, but not sit there the whole thing. What are you talking? It sounds insane. Which, by the way, the whole freaking that argument is bullshit anyway from the get-go. Being like, oh, they only like it. They were only gonna like this band because the guy's Japanese and they find the Japanese person interesting or hot. Okay, I guess that's what he's saying. Let's talk about rock for a second. Let's talk about the Beatles and Elvis. The Beatles and Elvis Presley. Did they not become sex symbols? Did they not become? Were they not followed by droves and droves of fans because they were good, entertaining, and attractive? Did the fans not find them attractive and line down the hall, out the venue just for 5 minutes of one-on-one time? What? It's goofy. It makes no sense. Like, I think Amy Lee from Evanescence is hot, or was hot. Okay, was hot. But I was never a fan of Evanescence. Not really. It kind of sounded like chick music, like my girlfriend's music. That's what it was. It was the album that my girlfriend listened to, and I liked a few songs off of it. And there's some good Evanescence songs, but it just wasn't my speed. At the time, I was listening to Metallica and Pantera, maybe Korn, okay? But I thought Evanescence or Amy Lee was hot. But I wasn't a fan of the band necessarily. I wasn't a hardcore fan. I wasn't listening to all their songs because of that. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway.
That's why people think this is so great. Another example of this is Crossfaith, Gimme Danger featuring Ralph. I don't know who Ralph is. Is there?
Wait, back that up. That sounded cool. That sounded cool. I like that. I like that.
Give Me Danger featuring Ralph. I don't know who Ralph is.
Ralph from the Kill Stream. Let's play this.
Is there anything wrong with this? No, but definitely nothing great about it.
Well, nothing great about it, dude. That sounds pretty cool. I'm liking that. Crossfaith. You know, they're actually a band I haven't really covered much at all or reacted to. Thanks for the recommendation, guy. This sounds cool. I like it. And what is the American equivalent of that? The closest thing I could think of is maybe Slipknot, but not even. That sounds even harder than Slipknot. That sounds like I'm liking it. Thanks.
Like, this just sounds like some generic nu metal band from 2002.
Generic nu metal band from now, you mean? Because the American bands that are from 2002 are still going. They still have their fan bases, okay? It's not like metal scene in America is pretty much dead, right? It's dying. It's dead. But people go, they'd be like, oh, look, there's this Japanese band that has a similar sound. They go harder. Oh, let's check this out. Like, if you like bands or you like this style, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. If you don't like the style, then you're not. Like, Repo Bob might not like the style. I don't know if he does or not. But if he doesn't like it, or if somebody else doesn't like it, fine. That's cool. But just because you like, I was gonna say, if they don't like the music, they're probably not gonna stick around with the band because they're Japanese. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It's very mid. There's nothing wrong with this, but it's very mid.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just very mid. What do you mean very mid? Very mid. Compared to what? Give me a comparison. Compared to what? It's very mid. Oh, I don't like it. If
this is America, they would have been huge.
It's very mid. These Japanese people, they can't produce anything that's really good. But he's about to eat his words in a little bit. But he'll walk it back. 2000,
but it's not 2000. I don't think this is bad, but I don't think it's great. And again, would the fans of the
that sounds like the sort of music. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the follow. That sounds like the sort of metal shit that Americans dig now, even though the metal scene is pretty much dead right now, right? That you could, if you look at it, I mean, you could find metal bands in America that sound like that. But that sounds harder than them, though. Crossfaith sounds harder.
This band like them as much if they were from Cleveland? I don't think they would. I think that people believe there's something special about being from Japan, and there's nothing special about this. Like, this is the same kind of competent.
We nuked them twice. I think there's something special. Okay? I think there's something special. Okay? All right? Come on. What is this guy's problem? He's like, oh, they're from Japan. You know? It's like, is he trying to, like, put them on a higher, like, bar or something? He's like, oh, I really want to be impressed by what they have. And, like, he just saw the greatest guitars in Japan. It was like, the guy's a good guitarist, but this music's shit. Okay, so you don't like the genre that he plays. All right, but so it's shit to you. Okay. Then you just saw this and you're like, it's okay. But, you know, I heard better. There's better. Compared to what? The shit that Slipknot's still coming out with? Like, what are you talking about? Okay, he's bringing up some other examples that we're going to get into.
But unremarkable kind of new metal-y metalcore that we've heard a million times, right? There's nothing special about this other than the fact that they're from Japan, and I don't believe that being Japanese is inherently interesting. It does.
Okay, he's about to get to this point where hey, thanks for the. Oh, thanks for the sponsor. Is that a subscriber? Thank you. That is so small, even I can't read it. I'm at OBS. I'm like, what was that? What was that thing there? Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Thank you. He's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna have an issue with a Japanese label. Why differentiate it? Like, why be like Japanese metal? And I said in the beginning, because Western music has dominated the scene globally, that you have to differentiate it, especially if you want your stuff to be branched out. Japan wants their stuff marketed as Japanese metal, because when they push your stuff out internationally, which they do, which the guy's gonna say some really dumb later coming up, not surprising, right? Like, it's like, check this out, Japanese metal, baby metal, you know, it's going to go tour in the U.S., go tour in Europe, okay? Okay, anyway. We're just going to let it play. I'm going to talk some more, and then I'm going to explain to you why, like, that label, that, you know, particular country metal, like, you and I both know that has existed for a while. Like,
does not make me want to listen to a band more if they're from Japan or anywhere. I don't care where an artist is from. I'm completely indifferent to the country that an artist is from.
Well, good for you. Look at that. But the new wave British heavy metal, what about that? The new wave British metal from like back in the 70s and 80s, right? The 60s and 70s, right? Shit. Then you got Swedish death metal. You got India metal. Okay, you got metal scenes coming from different countries, and they want that label there so people know where it's coming from. Because they want man. Because they want the viewers too, man. They want the audience too. They want you to enjoy their music, and if you like the music, listen, check out the band, check out the band's, check out their albums, check out all the music that they have, check out other bands that are similar to it. Come on, man. It makes sense why they do it. Marketing, too. You can look at it from that perspective. It's kind of like a marketing thing. But anyway.
Like everybody should be, right? Can we really say that this coming out in 2022, that there's anything really inherently interesting about this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I'm going to check it out.
I don't think so. Well, yes, it's literally people who fetishize Asian people and will say and do strange things because of it. Yes, but no, because they don't fetishize Asian people. They specifically fetishize Japanese people. So
this is what I'm talking about. He makes it like a sexual thing. If you like a Japanese metal band, it's problematic because you're sexualizing them. You're sexualizing them. Ben is telling the fans of Japanese metal that they can do better, that they can listen to better, because what they're listening to is competent and mid, not very noteworthy, and they're not like the better Western bands. And he's like, why don't you listen to them? Finn is coming across like kind of like one of those parents. He's like, you could do better. You know, like the parent when the daughter brings home a guy with a little bit more melanin in his skin, and the mom's like, you could do better. You could do better. Why are you doing that? You could do better. You know, just having the extra melanin doesn't make me any special. You could do better. It sounds fucked up, right? It sounds a little racist, right? Yeah, it does. I mean, I can't get over that. That's like, I wouldn't talk about this guy if it wasn't for that. That pretty much he calls any fan of Japanese metal, because he shits on everybody who likes Japanese metal bands. Whether you're, it is where this kind of unites us all. Whether or not you like Bandmade, Baby Metal, Love Bites, Nemophila, Duran Gray, Maximum the Hormone. He's pretty much taking a huge dump on all of them, saying, you only like them because they're from Japan and you think Japanese people are funny, goofy, or hot. There's other bands in the West and America that are better. Why aren't you listening to them? Because maybe we already are and you just don't know it. We could like both, or maybe we don't care. Okay? We like what we like. Anyway.
One of the things that I was going to talk about later, but I'll just do it now. I think it's very odd that people specifically fetishize, they say that they're into Asian stuff, right? Or they might say that, but why Japan? If people say they're into...
Because Japan's a cool country, dude. Japan has an interesting culture. How about that? That should be it. Why any country? Why are some people fascinated with German culture? Which, if you are, well, I mean, that's interesting. It's cool. It's cool. I'm fascinated by it too. But what I'm saying is, you can only go so far back. If you go past a certain date, if it's like, well, unfortunately, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm hinting at. But what about other cultures? Be fascinated with India culture, fascinated with Native American culture, fascinated with, I don't know, Hispanic culture. Fascinated with the fucking British culture. Come on, man.
To Asian culture. Well, are they into Thai things? Are they into Filipino things?
Is that what we have to do? Do we have to? It's, oh my God, we have to have like affirmative action of like the Asian. So if I'm a fan of Japanese metal, I also have to be a fan of Korean metal and Chinese metal, and like, is it like a fair representation thing? I can say this: I haven't heard a Chinese metal band. Actually, no, I take that back. I have heard a Chinese metal group, and I like them. They played progressive rock, which is something this guy doesn't like. They played progressive rock, and they sung about things that could get them executed in China because of what they sing about. But this guy probably wouldn't like it because it'd be kind of derivative and kind of all the same, and be like, they could kind of play random notes. He's gonna get to that. He's gonna say something like that too. That, it sounds okay. No, he's gonna say something that sounds very fucking gross. Like, they just played random notes. So how am I supposed to be impressed with that? This guy, he's throwing stones from glass houses, dude. That's what I'm saying. He's trying to say we're the fucking racists. That we're the ones that have issues. We're the ones who are like sexualizing the bands, whatever. When it literally has an Asian wife, and he's, dude. I'm just playing more. I'll just play more. I'm gonna smoke the cigar, drink some whiskey, dial it back a bit. That's right. The Hong Kong band, GDJYB. Not technically, I guess they are Chinese. I mean, because Hong Kong's part of China, especially now. Anyway, let's just play this. I like K metal, K rock. I like that stuff too. I was just saying, it's kind of weird.
Are they into Vietnamese things? No, it's only Japan, and sometimes
I'm into Vietnamese stuff. What are you talking about? You don't know anything about me. They probably are. Would they be open to Vietnamese metal? Maybe. Is it good? They're not just gonna like it because it's Asian. Like, is it good? Like, I played Rolling Quartz. That's the band. And Rolling Quartz, I kind of like them. Are they as good as like some Japanese counterparts? No, I don't think so. But I kind of like them. I want to see them kind of like, I think they're going to grow on me. Okay. I think they will impress me later on. They kind of seem like, the Korean, they're not the Korean bandmate. That's what I'm saying, but that's not really what they are. They don't have the same tone. And that's kind of wrong too. Anyway.
Times Korea. Korea boos are a relatively recent thing. As recently as 10 years ago, nobody in the
Bronx, I'll pause this to address you. Repo Bob is doing his job, bro. Like, behave, bro.
West gave a shit about Korea. American people still don't give a shit about Chinese things. There's specific...
I care about Chinese things. What are you trying to say? I buy goods from Amazon. They just don't last a good while, but come on, I like Chinese things.
Something about Japan that like nerdy white people really fetishize, and I don't understand why. If you like anime, that's...
He says he doesn't understand why. Okay. He used to like anime. He knows why, and he has an Asian wife. Oh my God. The whole like sexualization thing, he knows why. This motherfucker jerks off to Asian porn. You know that. You know that. You know he jerked off to hentai. You know that. What the fuck? He can't get into the music because all he sees are these women. He's like, oh man, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's gonna His wife is going to get pissed off.
It's fine. If you like video games, that's fine. But there's something specific to Japan that these people fetishize, and that, I think, is the root of this. Japan markets their artists better. No, they don't.
Actually, yes, they do. That's where you're wrong. You just said it. This guy just said it, and he doesn't understand. Compared to the other Asian countries that he just mentioned, Japan does a better job marketing their artists. Is it a great job? Well, baby metal, which is a very interesting sound to people who have never heard it before. It is a blend of J-pop and metal, and J-pop is something that's not really going to catch on in America. It just isn't. But could this blend work? And surprise, surprise, not only did it catch on in Europe, it caught on in America. It caught on in America. How do I know it caught on in Europe? You got Rob Halford of Judas Priest welcoming them, giving him his blessing. You got Baby Metal collabing with Bring on the Horizon or Bring Me the Horizon or whatever that band is. And how are their sales charts, by the way? Pretty good. Pretty good for a fucking Japanese metal band, huh? Weird how that works. And then they're not the only ones. Bandmade. I know Reboot Bob doesn't like Bandmade, but let me tell you, you can't deny this. Bandmade is doing a really good job with their world domination, okay? As far as when it comes to touring goes, for a Japanese band, they're doing pretty good. What are the bands? I haven't been following Crossfaith, but I hear they tour too. And of course they tour. In the States, of course they hit up some venues, okay? Reboot Bob, or anyone else who's knowledgeable on this subject. What are some other Japanese bands that are doing a really good job on coming to the States, going to Europe, okay? Jesus Christ. And my point in talking about this is that those Japanese groups and those bands are doing a lot better than K-metal groups are, Chinese metal groups are. I mean, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Nemophila just went to L.A. Right, Nemophila just went to L.A. And there is a show that they're going to very soon. What is the name of that show? Like all sorts of bands are going to be there. It's in October. Just about every band you could think of, every fucking metal band you could think of is going to be there. Bandmaid's going to be there. Nemophila's going to be there. Slipknot's going to be there. Nine Inch Nails is going to be there. You got bands from Mexico going to be there. Man.
That's the interesting.
I was going to react to some Love Bites tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. Because at 11 o'clock, that's my bedtime. And we're only 10 minutes in. I'll let this guy talk.
The thing about Japan is a very insular country that does not give a shit about anything outside of Japan. This is like a very well-known thing about Japan that goes back like forever because they're an island country. Compared to Korea, the reason why Korean pop culture took off the way it did is because they actually do market their stuff outside of Asia. Another example of what I would categorize as Japanese.
So how did Baby Metal catch on then? I mean, this guy is fucking idiot.
Music that is not really innovative in any way, but is just sort of a competent, like well-executed version of a formula that has been around for a long time is Crystal Lake. I know people are going to get mad.
Oh, he's going to bring up Crystal Lake. Once again, this guy did not do his homework whatsoever. He's going to try to say Crystal Lake is derivative of American bands, and he's going to bring up the band Architects. You can say Crystal Lake sounds good, but they really just sound like Architects, implying that they stole their sound from Architects, which Architects is a band from the UK, which I never heard of. I've never heard of Architects, okay? They started in 2004. Crystal Lake started 2002. So who came first? I mean, it's metal core, like new metal stuff. Okay, you know, the correct label. If I got it wrong, sue me, I guess. But my thing is, they play kind of similar genres. So they can have a similar sound. It's kind of like saying, oh, Metallica, Testament have a similar sound. Oh, okay. They're one the same. But no, it's like, no, they're not.
Because Crystal Lake fans are very, very defensive. But that's what I would call them. Reddit loves Crystal Lake. They sure do. Because Reddit are nerds with beards. And guess who also likes Japanese stuff? Nerds with beards. Now, this is good. Like, this is well.
It is good. It is good. But he can't let it go. He has to say it's good, but it sounds like Architects. So just listen to Architects. Just listen. Don't listen to this Japanese band when you can listen to this band from the UK.
Well done, but it's just Architects. That's all it is. This is just Architects. Very competent.
I don't think this guy did any homework whatsoever. I don't think he listened to all their stuff to make that opinion, because that is very fucking wrong.
But really nothing special, right? We're certainly not creative. Let's put it that way.
Not creative. Okay, that's rich.
It's like they don't believe Japanese can do this, so it's like, oh my god, look, a Japanese hardcore band. It could be that. In a case of...
It sounds like you think like Japanese people can't even come up with anything good as far as music goes. Like you don't like this shit. That's it. That's really it. You don't like it. You don't understand why people like it. And because you don't understand it, you're like, oh, maybe they only like it because it's the Japanese people playing it. Maybe it's something about that. Maybe the fans are racist. Maybe the fans are exotifying them. I have to remember that label every time. Exotifying. I have to like visually see it. Like exotic. No. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Exotify. Such a goofy word.
So Crystal Lake, to me, they're probably one of the best Japanese bands, but I don't think that there's anything incredibly special about them. And again...
Hey, Repo, dude, attacking the mod is not a nice idea, dude. Chill out, man. Chill out. He just wants things PG, dude.
And when people bring them up, it's not so much like, oh, Crystal Lake is a really good band. It's like Crystal Lake is a really cool Japanese band. Like, it shouldn't matter where you're from, right?
Yeah, like In Flames is a pretty good Swedish metal band. Or like Sabaton's a good Swedish metal band. Okay? Like people, like Rammstein's a good German metal band. Okay? People put the name of the country before the music style. It's a known thing. It's what people do. And why do they do that? Maybe it's because they're singing fucking Japanese. How about that?
Right? It's very strange to believe that there is some sort of essential fundamental difference in people just...
They sing in Japanese half the... Gee, what do you mean? What do you mean there's not a difference? What do you mean there's not a fundamental difference? Bandmade reference here. Although there are other Japanese bands I could reference here that actually play with like traditional Japanese instruments. Okay, but Bandmade does that as well. Band Mayako, where they will play various songs. I think 2 of their songs in with traditional Japanese instruments, in addition to their normal instruments. Pretty nice. And in there, you would say that's a Japanese sound. That is a Japanese rock band, Japanese metal band. Okay.
Just because they come from Japan, right? It's just not how it works. Let me give one more example. This is an artist, Ryoko Hirosue, who I had a friend who was like the biggest weeb I've ever met. He's from Cleveland. He learned fluent Japanese to the point that when he talks to Japanese people on the phone, they think he's Japanese. And he married a Japanese woman and moved to Japan. The ultimate weeb. And he was like super into this artist, like loved her back in the 90s. And now listen to this. Like, this is terrible.
It sounds like one half of Baby Metal. You put some metal guitars on that, you make her sing a little faster, you got yourself a good hit. I mean, this, I do like some J-pop. This not really my song, but if it's yours, if you like this artist, I'm not going to shit on you for it. I'm not going to shit on the fans for it. I'm not going to accuse them of exotifying or fetishizing. First off, it's pop music. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Because he's going to say the only reason why his friend Wayne or whatever liked this person is because he wanted to have sex with her. He wanted to bang her. Okay? That's what he's saying.
It just sounds like the fucking opening credits to some slice of life anime, right? You know, if you like it, that's fine. But my question is, would you like the Western counterpart to this? Fuck no, you wouldn't.
People do. People like... There was a Western counterpart to this. Like, this slower kind of pop. That's kind of more old school. Like, it doesn't like in the 50s and stuff. Kind of like that. It's just a better recording quality. So people like that. People kind of like that.
Because this is like the equivalent of listening to like Disney music or fucking...
Some people like Disney music.
Like Hilary Duff or something like that.
Some people like Hilary Duff.
And the kind of people...
Actually, a lot of people like Hilary Duff.
People who are into this are never into Western pop.
Yes, they are. Like, okay.
Never. They're only into Japanese stuff and sometimes Korean stuff. So what that means is that, again, it's the exotification. They believe that there's something fundamentally different about Japanese pop artists compared to Western pop artists. And I don't agree with that. I think it's weird. Why was he into this? I'm sorry, Wayne. I don't mean to put you on blast. The reason why he was into this is obvious. It's because he wants to bang this girl, right?
Pause that. Britney Spears. Why were a lot of people into Britney Spears? Because she was hot. She's a pop star. Britney Spears was a pop star. I guess is still currently. I don't know. Was a pop star. And pop is sold by what? Yeah, you have your music, but you also have the sex. They sell the attractiveness. Okay, that's like pop 101. That's like just about every fucking pop singer, pop star, artist, especially when you talk about the West, especially now where it's bombarded and saturated by all these female artists that sell their sexual image. Like they prostitute themselves on stage or on music videos in their performances, and that's fine, whatever. But like what I'm saying is, while they're selling the music, they're selling their attractiveness. So your friend Wayne liking her because she's attractive, what is wrong with that? When that is the same thing that is sold here in the West, in America. That is your friend Wayne appreciating the art as intended, appreciating the product as intended. Okay? That's like being a fan of going back to metal, Arch Enemy, and being like, you know, that front lady, she's kind of hot. The front chick, she's hot. She's hot. I'm gonna put a poster of her on my wall. That's as intended. That's exactly what the band is marketed. That you are doing what you're supposed to do. Okay? I don't see anything wrong with this whatsoever. And this guy knows this because his wife is Asian. He's accusing, this piece of shit is accusing Japanese metal fans for having yellow fever when he has a Vietnamese wife. By the way, when I say accusing, he's accusing him as if it's a problematic thing. And he knows better. He knows better. He knows you could be attracted to somebody and it's fine. And he knows you can be attracted to a pop artist and it's fine. He knows that. It's just...
Hey, if you want to listen to her music because you think she's cute, that's fine. Just say it. Just say you have yellow fever and that's the reason why you like it. You know? Just...
But people could like the music too. He can't comprehend that. Which that is not a good example of J-pop. That is not a good example. There's so many other great J-pop examples.
Just admit it. Just admit it. And then there's an example kind of on the border, I suppose. This band Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, who people bring up to me all the time. I'm sorry, I love Wayne. Great guy, I love him. People bring this band up to me all the time as an example of like this incredible Japanese post-hardcore band. This is from 2011. Like, this is terrible. And remember, this is
It's all right. It's not really my thing. I could listen to this. It's not something I'll play on the regular. But if you're a fan of it, I'm not going to shit on you. I'm not going to call you mean things. Is it something I would react to? Yeah. And I'll find some positive things to say about it. I'd be like, well, it's not really for me, but, here's this, that, and okay. All right.
2011. This sounds like it's from 2008. This is like some shit tier local band from Dayton. This sound was like played out even by 2011. Imagine thinking that this is like...
Wait. Go back. There's a shift in that song that I don't think I recall hearing in Western versions or equivalent to this band.
Imagine thinking that this is like the peak of music.
There we go. Now that sounds cool. Wait, you just skipped...
Like, this is bad. I can understand.
There was a cool part in that song. You just skipped it. What the...
If like you like it even though it's bad. Like, this sort of sounds like some random like shitty easy
I wonder what he'd say about Gottschalk Spin. This guy would hate Gottschalk Spin. He'd be like, I don't understand it. You got someone on the keyboard dressed as a hamburger. You have these girls running around on stage. I don't understand it. Ugh, makes no sense. By the way, I brought up Gottschalk Spin because I can't think of a Western equivalent of that band. I tried to think about that today. What is a Western equivalent? An American or UK equivalent of Gottschalk Spin? I cannot think of one.
core band that I would download from, a sketchy blog spot in 2009. And you might sort of like it semi-ironically or affectionately, even though it's bad. But again, people act like this is the pinnacle of music, and you have to think how much of it is just...
Dude, you act like your music taste is the pinnacle of music. I mean, like, I'm not... Who? What? Oh, all right. That's rich.
Just because they're from Japan. Would you like the same band if they were from Dayton? I don't think you would, because objectively, this is not great. Now this...
Well, I mean, apparently you just admitted people do. There was a time in America where people like bands like that. You could still find bands like that in America as well, that they have fans. People listen to that stuff. So, next point.
The second category of stuff is just kind of weird and zany, and that's the appeal. Like, fundamentally, these are not great songs. It's really just a spectacle. It's like, oh, look at the Japanese people doing weird stuff, which is just naked.
Okay, he's about to call a whole subgenre of Japanese music, a whole thing that's specifically Japanese, as problematic, because if you like it, you just like watching Japanese people do weird things, and you're wrong for doing that. You're racist for doing that. When it's the Japanese that are that produce like it's the Japanese that came up with that fucking subgenre, the visual kai, however you pronounce it.
It's like, oh, look at the Japanese.
They want you to be entertained by it. They want you to enjoy it. If you think it's visually weird, that's the purpose. He's
people doing weird stuff. Right. Which is just naked exotification. And this stuff goes way back.
Naked
this is pretty old. This is from like
part.
the 2000s, I think. This would be considered Visual K, right? Visual K started in the late 80s, like with X Japan, I think. We're kind of...
X Japan, which is essential to Japan, especially in the, the metal scene. X Japan. I'm not familiar with all their songs. I need to do some history there. But these guys could play. These guys, I was doing some reading on them. Apparently, there's a performance where they're so intense that the drummer would pass out. And this Finn guy, who wants to put himself on a pedestal and say that we're racist for liking and enjoying jmetal, wants to say you're racist for liking bands like X Japan or Malice Miser, okay, for enjoying them because you find them entertaining because they're weird looking. They are weird. This look is to look weird. It's kind of like liking Slipknot because they look like they're from fucking horror films, because they horrify you, because they look scary and demented. That's the product as intended. If you are like a fan of Malice Miser, like, they don't look weird at all. Huh. They look normal. That's not the product. The product is, look at us. You don't see this anywhere else. You don't see this anywhere else. And the music itself is actually pretty good. But he's not going to give any compliment.
One of the first ones, or among the first. Not good. This shit is terrible. I really wanted to like this back in the day. I heard about this stuff and I was like, okay, cool. I gotta check this out. The way people are talking about this is like so amazing. I gotta check this out. And I listened to it and it's not good. I'm sorry. I love Wayne. He's a great guy, but he was the most weeby weeb I've ever met.
This guy does not like progressive metal whatsoever. Okay? I'm just reminding you guys, he hates progressive metal.
See, they all look like NPCs from Symphony of the Night,
which is a great game,
or Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
I would say that guy looks more like Aerith.
I mean, look at that shit.
That costume's great. I love that costume. You're supposed to be entertained by that. You're supposed to be amused by that. The guy looks like a horror clown in a funny suit. It's not wrong to be like, wow, I'm entertained by how weird this is. That's perfectly normal. That doesn't make you racist. You're the one who sounds racist as fuck for saying we're the one who's racist for even just enjoying it.
Ask yourself,
or more like Sephiroth.
This: how many of their fans would listen to the same band if they sang it?
The guy, Sephiroth, right? Sephiroth. I thought maybe Aerith, but Sephiroth.
In English, and
that is so Sephiroth. Or maybe Alucard. I could not pull off that look.
They didn't look like this. Zero. If they were just like a bad kind of progressive metal band from Riverside that was like schlubby white dudes playing the same shit, would people like them? No.
That's not even a fair comparison, because this particular genre is Japanese specific. You said earlier that you're familiar with Japanese culture, which I guess you're not, because you would know that this subgenre would not pop out in the States. Our equivalent, the US equivalent of this, would be like the horror mask guys or the Marilyn Manson, okay? That would be the American equivalent. All right?
The appeal is all about the fact that they're like
or poppy shit,
weird looking Japanese people, right? If you like weird,
I mean, what about Kiss? Kiss had a very iconic look, and they were cool rock, and they had an iconic look. It's like, would people like Kiss if it wasn't for their look, for their costume, for their makeup? Maybe not. That was part of the thing. It's kind of like, would Slipknot be popular if it wasn't for all the masks and the jumpsuits and the crazy things they do on stage? Probably not. That's part of the package. And this guy knows it. There's other videos where this guy even says, in order to be successful, you have a sound that stands out and have a look that stands out. Motherfucker, this whole subgenre stands out. And you just don't get it.
Japanese stuff, I guess, go for it, whatever. That's your right. But I think it's weird. I think it's weird to exotify people, and I don't think this...
It's not exotifying. Like, you're not going to find this in the States. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a uniquely Japanese thing. You could say, yeah, it's inspired by hair metal, which, sure, fine. But hair metal didn't look like that. Dude, they took the Twisted Sister, Dee Snider, and they cranked it up to 11. there was a very, I used to, every now and then I'll listen to Hardcore History by Dan Harden, right? Is that his name? There's something he said about the Japanese culture. Wait to explain it. It wasn't really a bad thing. I kind of liked it. It was kind of simple and quick, but it's like you take bits and pieces of other cultures and you just crank it up to 11. They're really good at that. That's like their thing, and that's what makes them stand out. That's how they, like, look at the video game scene. America started that. Yeah, the West started that with Atari. But Japan takes that, cranks it up to 11. I mean, it's, what about cars? Well, who produces the more reliable car? Okay? You might like your Ford or your Dodge or your Chevy. But, you know, that Honda, you change the oil and you're going to be fine. Okay? It's really not going to have any problems.
This is good music. If you're like, yeah, the music kind of sucks, but whatever, I like the imagery, that's fine. But to people putting this stuff up as like the pinnacle of music, I would say no, it's not great music.
They're just excited about it. It's something unique, something they found. Like,
another example is Maximum the Hormone.
Oh man, I'm a pretty big Maximum the Hormone fan. I would do more reactions, but they don't seem to like that. So, fair enough.
Now, you know, to just sort of drive home the weeaboo factor, apparently they did the opening for Death Note. How many of the people who were into this band got into them because of Death Note? Death Note is fucking awesome.
Rebo Bob, I like what he said. In his youth, he protested Kiss concert because of Satanism. Probably. Actually, there is some lore on this guy. He used to write articles for like Metal Sucks or something. And he would say that like Black Sabbath isn't really metal. He would write pieces that are clickbaity and contrarian just for the views. Like exactly what he's doing now. Like he knows what he's doing. And I said in the beginning, I know this guy's probably trolling. There's like, anyway.
But the weeaboo factor is real. And this band is really, really, really bad. Like just absolute cringe.
How are they bad? What are you talking about? If you like the new metal sound, you're going to like this band. They take that new metal sound of like System of a Down and Korn, and they take it to a whole other level. Dude, there's some really hard and heavy Maximum the Hormone songs. I mean, and then there's some goofy ones. Like, I like Maximum the Hormone because they don't take themselves seriously at all. You could tell. Like this whole music video. Anyway.
I mean, these guys can play.
Play more of that. Play some more. Oh, he says, oh, they could play.
Well, I suppose.
He has to walk it back because his chat is egging him on. I noticed that. His chat is pretty brutal. They don't like this. And his audience isn't liking it. So he's really... Okay. I see what's going on here.
But is this good music?
This guy already made up his mind. He's not going to change his opinion. He'll be all right. This is shit.
No. I mean, I'm sure they're cool people. I'm not putting them down. Yeah, this riff is from Mid-Michigan in 2006, pretty much. From the chat here, it goes both ways. Maybe it's because American culture is all over the world. You wouldn't have this Korn System of Down clone if they weren't infatuated with American stuff. That's totally right.
Right. They were influenced by System of Down and Korn. You can easily say that. It's in their look. It's in their sound. You could even... Oh, that's the thing, too. So what about Japanese people that are fascinated by music from the West, from American bands? What about that? Are they fetishizing Americans? Are they exotifying? Like, when the Japanese people are all crazy about Slayer and Metallica, are they exotifying them? I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. They just like the music, bro. It's as simple as that. They like the music. You don't. That's it.
For example, I mean, anime is Japanese people reinterpreting.
No milkers in here.
Disney cartoons, and now there's American stuff like Powerpuff Girls and whatnot that copies anime. So we are now copying people who were copying Disney, right? So it's kind of interesting how this stuff, you know, sort of feeds itself. And
hey, I just want you guys to get along. You know, Bronx, it's all right. Like, so I'll just, so Bronx is somebody who's followed me for like years. And like, we would have this back and forth in the chat that was like, I'd ban him and then he would be released. He wants to be as offensive as possible at times to be banned, but then like that YouTube channel, I kind of take it as a joke too. But come on, Repo. Did I say Repo Bob? I meant Bronx Beats. Sorry. Jesus Christ, I'm not even drunk. Bronx Beats is the guy who's been following me for years. Repo Bob is a good Chad. Repo Bob is a good guy. He's been following me since doing the reaction stuff on YouTube and Twitch, and I like him. He's had many good suggestions. He's helped me a lot with the Love Bite stuff. He's helped me a lot with a lot of reactions, especially with the lore. I like both you guys. I just, you know, Bronx Beats. It's, you know, we're on Twitch. Okay.
And again, this is another important point too. People need to realize there's a difference between liking something and saying it's the best thing ever. Yes, I know there's some people that are upset about what I'm saying here, but people keep asking me my opinion on this, and I'm giving it to you. Mrs.
Okay, and then this song is about to shift into something that you're not going to hear from System. Actually, System of a Down did some experimental shit on their later albums that I actually liked. They have a song on one of their later albums, or actually, I don't know if it's not their latest. That's Hollywood Baseball. The Hollywood Baseball song. I thought that song was great. That was a fun song. It's so weird. It sounded so different.
This is the point of objectivity, that people might like the zany stuff. That is true. I agree with that. I mean, there are people who might like the zany stuff. That's a whole other question of, is zany music good? I would say no. I think that
zany music as in an interesting sound that stands out. Yes.
This sort of arbitrary complexity does not have a lot of value to me.
People that are fans of Poppy would disagree. People that are fans of baby metal would disagree. I know Poppy's not jmetal, but I put that in there because this guy is all about like the West stuff, man. Forget the Japanese stuff.
You know, and it's just so like dorky, right? Like that part is okay, I suppose, if you're into like bad nu metal. But then you get into this part.
Dude, that shift is like one of my favorite parts. It comes out from nowhere and it's very fucking catchy. But like, you know what's messed up too? You show one Maximum the Hormone song and it's not even like, it doesn't even showcase all of their work, really. They have some songs. I mean, they have a lot of songs that are very different from one another. Anyway.
This reminds me of Space Channel 5.
Yeah, it's disco. I like disco. Okay.
So that's another example. I'm listing all these because
dude, and there was a bass drop that was coming in, and then the guitar comes in there. Oh man, it's so freaking cool. I can
know that if I don't list some of these examples, you guys are going to be, oh, well, you didn't listen to this band or that band. So I'm listing some of the artists that people bring up as examples of great Japanese.
Okay, here's the part. There's a reason why I'm continuing this. Here's the part where he actually says, oh, I like this. But he says something, and he wants to say problematic. He says something that would be problematic. I mean,
music, and I'm talking about them. So this is Pale Dusk, which was a newer band that, you know, sort of like the deathcore heavier version of Maximum the Hormone, I would say. Clearly, these people can play like this.
So he's giving compliments. They can play.
This is, you know, complex, well done music. But
complex, well done music. But what? What's the problem? So you recognize you like this song, you're liking it, but the problem is what exactly?
Is it good? I would say no. This stuff that
It's not good. He likes it, but it's not good because
relies on essentially being the spectacle of Japanese people doing weird shit.
he doesn't like it because the Japanese are doing weird shit. Weird to him. Doesn't that now sound racist? Does that not sound weird? And guys, I'm not the sort of person who's going to go after someone for being racist. I would have. That's a whole other argument, a whole other stream about free speech and all that stuff. But it's like, and just wanting people to get along and stuff. But he's coming up with this, man. He's coming at us. He's coming at the fans of jmetal and saying that we exotify them, fetishize them, and are racist because of that somehow. Okay, when he himself can't like this band because Japanese people doing weird stuff. Okay, so what? If they were a Western band, you would like it? But that's not even the worst.
Not that interesting to me. Initial D was fucking awesome. I love that show. I mean, if you like this, that's cool.
I'm liking it. This sounds cool.
Whatever. If you like it,
you like it, but
that's what's important. But my opinion is that it's not interesting to me to hear Japanese people just play random notes. That
he liked it for a bit, but he doesn't like it because Japanese people do weird things and because it's Japanese people playing random notes. So when the Japanese do come out with a sound he likes, it's just random notes. Okay. This guy. I mean, let's walk this back here. This Finn guy. He does sound like a bigot to me. This Finn guy, once again, he's telling Japanese metal fans that they could do better because what they like is competent but mid. You know, they're not as good as Western bands. And so why are you enjoying them when there's Western bands that you could enjoy? That's what he's saying here. And then he'll say, which I said before, it sounds kind of like the parent that's like kind of very bigoted and scolding their teenage daughter from dating a black guy. He's like that. You could do better than listen to Japanese music. You could do better than dating that black guy. You could do better than this. You could do better. Don't listen to Japanese music, bigot. That's what he's saying. That's what I'm hearing. And much more than that. And he plays a Miyavi clip, one of the greatest guitarists in Japan. One of them. There's a lot of great guitarists in Japan. So many. Okay? Japan is pumping out some really good guitarists and really good rock and really good metal. We recognize that. But you don't see that, Finn. You just see them as Japanese people doing weird stuff and hitting random notes. It dismisses it as derivative or sounds like something else. Sounds like Arvid or if it is original, saying, oh, it's just random notes and they got lucky. Sounds like Finn is trying to say that Japanese metal is derivative, but if you give the Japanese people enough time, they'll come up with something creative by chance, by luck. It kind of reminds me of that expression that about that line. I heard this before. About if you put monkeys in a room, if you put people in a room or monkeys, they'll come out with Shakespeare. Is that what he's trying to say about the Japanese? Is that what he's trying to say? I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth there. I'll be willing to walk that one back. I don't know. I don't want to go that far.
That's not interesting to me. and I don't think it has inherent value. And then that brings us to the last category of stuff, the obvious one, baby metal.
Baby metal.
Now I know the baby metal stands are going to come for me.
Yes, we will. I'm a baby metal fan.
Because baby metal stands are real.
Yes, we are. We're very real.
With baby metal, they're probably the best out of all.
They're not the best. He just said baby metal's the best of Japanese metal. They're not the best of Japanese metal. What? Oh,
All this stuff. I think out of all the...
They're like the most commercial. They're probably... If you define best as commercially successful, then yeah.
Japanese shit I have heard, I honestly do think baby metal is probably the best. These are like pretty catchy songs. Not great, but they're pretty decent.
But he plays a song that doesn't sound like that song. What? He plays a baby metal song, Shanti 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 Shanti, which doesn't have a Japanese sound to it. It has a Indonesian sound. It has like what do you call that sound? The Bollywood sound to it. He should have played a better example with like more a Japanese sort of like melody or harmony would be Megasune. That would be a much better example.
Whoever writes these songs is fucking good. These guys can play. From the chat here, baby metal is just an edgy idol group. That's exactly...
Dude, he doesn't even know. Baby metal, to call baby metal an edgy idol group, oh man, he doesn't even know about the other like subculture of J-pop. Like that I think it's literally a subculture. I learned about that from you guys from doing the the reactions. I can barely talk right now. Like Necrom Omidal, like that's an edgy idol group.
Right. And that's sort of my larger point. Would the baby metal fans like this if they were like random Western girls playing the same kind of music? I don't think so.
Yes, they would. Poppy is a good example. Poppy is very successful. Poppy did this. Poppy did pop metal stuff. She did that. And it was good for her. She did well. What are you talking about?
Clearly, the appeal of baby metal is maybe somewhat their music, but a lot of it is the fact that it's these like young-looking Japanese girls playing this kind of music, right?
That is flat out wrong what he said there. He's just said the only reason why people like baby metal is because of the young girls. That is flat out fucking wrong right there. The reason why majority of the people that like baby metal is because of the sound, because of the music, because it's something unique that you're not going to hear very often. Look, if you're in America, you're not going to hear this sound anywhere else on your radio or bombarded to, on your, whatever ads or whatever promotion for various bands and artists. You're not going to hear this. Poppy is the only other artist I could think of that had a sound that's like this. I don't think it's a sound that's like going to be defining her. I think it's just like a one moment thing. Like I got into baby metal because of the sound. This guy is saying this, that the only reason why people like this band, like baby metal, is because of the young girls. Does he realize these girls started when they're 13? Does he know what he's saying there? Does he know what he's implying? And like I said earlier, what sort of person, what sort of fan only likes a group because of how the members look? If that's what you like about them, then how can you say you like their music if it's just the look? That doesn't make any sense. It's both. There's this American band called Jack Off Jill. It was all female American band, punk rock sort of thing. I liked them. I have no idea who was in that band. I have no idea how they looked. Never cared to look. Wasn't even a thing that I used to listen to them when I was like senior year in high school. And but I like their sound. Anyway.
And the girls, like, they're not into this kind of music. Like, this is their job. So they're not like metal.
They do like that music. Oh, God damn it. This person.
Girls. Exactly. The stands love.
He does no homework whatsoever. He does no research on what he's talking about.
Baby metal and say Poppy is trash. This is a good question.
That might be the ones that see Poppy as a rival. As, Poppy's encroaching on baby metal territory. See, I'm cool in that I like this sound. I might like that sound. And if I like it, I like it. They could both exist. They could coexist. That's fine.
Would they like it if there were no videos? Because let's be real, a lot of the appeal of baby metal is that their fans think these girls are hot, right?
What is the stat on that? Like, he's trying to say that as if that is a fact. Where's the poll on that? What are you talking about? Whenever I'm in like a baby metal Facebook group or whatever, I don't like it when they and it's very rare that ever happens, where they'll like post Sue or some other member of the Sue or Moa, post them and like say something about their look. I don't do that. First off, because they start off when they're fucking 13. Why would anybody do that? There's a certain person that would. And I think that goes with the majority as well, because of what I see when that does happen is that it's not something that's promoted. It's not something that's really encouraged. This guy.
And if that's the case, that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with finding them attractive.
He is an idiot here.
They're of age as far as
he probably finds them attractive. That's what's going on here.
There's nothing wrong with finding them attractive. I would just say, like, just say it. Like, you like baby metal because you're into like nerdy metal and you think these.
Once again, I gotta say, and probably for you as well, my first time knowing about baby metal was hearing them when it was on YouTube. It was on my Bluetooth in my car. I was going to a location for work, and I was like, what is this sound? Baby metal. And the song was, it was Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can, the live version. That was my first baby metal song. And that sold me instantly. I was like, this is, I've never heard anything like this ever in my life. I want to hear more of it. And I couldn't quit it. I went from that to Headbanger to Karate to it. I couldn't stop it. It was great. I loved it. I loved the sound. I was like, this is good. This is good.
These girls are cute. That's okay. Let's just say it. Would you like this music if it was random Western girls that you...
Yes, I would. Random Western girls. What group is doing that other than Poppy? And yes, I've liked Western music that had all females. It's rare to find. They're hard to find. Jack Off Jill's one I could think of. They were good. One of my favorite songs of theirs was Vivian. That was a good song. And Nazi Halo. That's another good song. I don't know who was in that band, but that band was good. I liked them. And I still don't even know what they look like. They were probably hot. I don't even know. But who cares?
Didn't find attractive, I don't think you would. I don't think they're little girls. I think they're in their 20s, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these girls are in their 20s. So I don't think it's creepy to find them attractive, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Now, here's the part where he takes one of the more popular J-rock, J-metal bands, Bandmade, and just totally shits on them with so much ignorance. It's baffling.
That much about them. The worst example of this to me is Bandmade, which is
like, keep in mind, remind you, he got into this thing. He knows Japanese culture, right? And like the band's called Bandmade. They wear the maid cafe maid outfits, and he doesn't recognize that. He doesn't recognize that maybe that's part of the band. Maybe their look, the fact that they look kind of kawaii, kind of cute, okay, kind of maybe submissive, that look is attractive. It is attractive. And then they also have a really good sound. A good sound that it's liked by thousands, by millions. The song he's going to play is Thrill, which is a song that wasn't even written by them. It's actually one of my favorite Bandmade songs. It's not one of their more complex songs. I like the simple riff. I like the simple riff. It reminds me of the Mega Man X Stage Select song. Okay? It reminds me of that. I like that riff. I like that simplicity. But I also like their more complex songs, which they have a lot of complex songs.
I don't know that much about them. The worst example of this to me is Bandmade, which these girls who dress like
that are rocking out
like maids.
Dressed up as maids, yes. It's okay to like them. Finn, if you find them attractive, that's okay. It's okay for you. You don't have to tell us it's okay. We know. That's part of the package here with Bandmade. You're supposed to find them hot. That's part of it. That's part of it.
Playing really bad.
Imagine that. Sex appeal and rock and roll sold together in one package. Wow, that's nothing new. That's done, like I said, since Elvis.
Sounds like a local band. Like, this is not good. Any way you want.
Not good? Dude, that's not fucking cool. Dude, I like
look
that.
at it.
I'd be like, man, that's good. That's fine. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. I think Repo Bob doesn't like Bandmade. That's fine too. You don't have to like it. That's fine. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to shit all over the fans for liking it and say that they're problematic for liking it.
Nobody could possibly say that this was good.
No one can possibly say it's good. Maybe the 6 million people that have watched it and liked it. Maybe the fact that, Bandmade's actually doing pretty good for themselves. Very, very successful. Very successful.
That's bad, but they dress as maids and they're Japanese. Exactly. The people who like this, the 17 million people who watched...
17 million. What are you going to say about the 17 million people that like this, Finn? What are you going to say about them? Something very smart and educated?
Maids and they're Japanese. Exactly. The people who like this, the 17 million people who watched this video, how many of them would like this band if they were Americans who didn't dress like this?
Bands that are like American that sound like that? The Bandmade sound, you chose Thrill. So the equivalent would be like, is Hellstorm American? Hellstorm might be, is Hellstorm American? I don't even know where they're from. I don't even care. But yes, there's American bands that kind of sound maybe like this. If you're really kind of like trying to make it sound, like, what do you mean, like indie rock, like harder indie rock? Yes, there's American bands. I'm thinking right now, Killer's Hot Fuzz, the first Killer's album, one of my favorite Killer's album because of that raw garage band sound that they had. I love that sound. So yes, I also like the Bravery, which also had that sound. So yes, they would. It just so happens that they have a sound that people like, that 17 million people like, and they're dressed up in maid outfits, and they're Japanese, and they're hot.
That is my question. At least we're talking about Westerners. I can't speak to what their Japanese fan base is like, but among Westerners, let's be real. It's the yellow fever factor.
projection coming from a guy who has an Asian wife. He can't get past this, and he thinks it's problematic for anyone else to like this. Wow, wow, wow. The only bigot here is Finn McKenty. Now, that was a long thing. Too long. That was almost 2 hours.